Great team's been off to a pretty good start here so far. Mostly through an indoor play, kind of inching towards outdoor play, especially with
Absolutely.
SEC play around the corner. How would you assess the start of the season for your team?
It's been strong. We've definitely had a couple good wins over Virginia as well as Baylor and Cornell, Princeton. So a couple, good away trip to New York, as well as good home stand. We've had some tough competition. I think that's gotten us ready for the SEC. So we're feeling strong. 2 week break to kind of get healthy and rest a little bit, and so we're feeling good going into SEC.
You mentioned some of those big wins you had. A couple of them were here in the new indoor facility in front
Absolutely.
of raucous crowds. What was that like playing here and seeing the community kind of
It was
around
it
you?
was a lot of fun. We haven't had indoor court since my sophomore year in the Gillum Center, and so it was pretty special to be able to start my senior season playing indoors here at the new center, and definitely against some top teams. Cornell and Baylor was a great weekend. We were able to go 2-0, had a great crowd. The community came out to support and see the new center, and so it just kind of came together, and we had a couple great wins. It was a lot of fun.
With SEC play starting up tomorrow, what's the difference between kind of the non-conference slate and getting into it every weekend against SEC opponents?
I think non-conference is kind of like, you're trying to get some good wins to get the season started, but you've got to keep in mind that it's just the beginning of the season and you're kind of get the ball rolling. SEC is kind of, you have to hit the ground running. You know that from the very first weekend, it's going to be 6 straight weeks of just grueling matches week in, week out, and there's really no time to slip up. And so once it starts, you really just have to be locked in for 6 weeks. And so that's what we try to prepare for mentally and physically, and I think we're ready.
Yeah, how does a team do that? How do you stay focused? How do you bring your A game every time you go out there every weekend, week in, week out?
I think it's just about using the time you have to rest and take your mind off it. We have Mondays or Tuesdays off every week after we play a couple matches, and so it's being smart with your time, getting enough sleep, taking care of your schoolwork early in the week so you're not stressed about it when the matches are rolling around on Friday and Sunday. And obviously that's coming from a senior, so I know those things, but we try to espouse that to the younger guys, and by the end of the week you feel like you're mentally fresh and you're not thinking about everything else, and so you're able to focus on the tennis, and I think that's the way you kind of can make it through 6 weeks straight.
And you said, hit the ground running when it comes to SEC play. So how important is it getting off to a good start this weekend with two teams coming into here?
I mean, it's really important. It sets the tone because we've had 2 weeks off. We haven't played a match, and like I said, SEC is a little bit different than the out-of-conference stuff. So this first weekend is really what sets the tone, and so we have a great A&M team coming in as well as LSU on Sunday. You look to get a couple wins to get started and sort of set the tone for that 6-week grind, because how you feel from the beginning is a lot of the time how you're going to feel through. It has a lasting effect. So if you can get some momentum from the beginning, I think that's how championships are won. So we're looking to start strong.